Good morning, everyone. Our presentation is called Building a New Economy, Challenges of Transition from Planned of Market Economy. A planned economy in one where the government controls what to produce, prices, and distribution. In contrast, a market economy is based on private ownership, competition, and free prices. During this Soviet period, Kazakhstan economy was directed from Moscow. The country mainly supplied raw materials like oil, coal, and metals, while finished goods came from other republics. This made Kazakhstan dependent of Soviet system. The goal of our presentation is to show how Kazakhstan moved from this trade system to a market economy after 1991 and what challenges appeared during the transitions. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed and Kazakhstan became independent. This ended the trade economic model that had existed for decades. Independence brought many difficulties. Kazakhstan lost trade partner, supply chains, and financial support from Moscow. Many factories stopped working, unemployment grew, and inflation increased. The government had to build a new system from zero, create national institutes and central bank ministries and new laws. One of the first big steps was the introduction of the national currency, the tenge, in 1993. It became a symbol of economic independence. Although this period was very hard, it laid the foundation for Kazakhstan's future growth and modernization.
Main economic reforms. To tackle the economic chaos, the government launched a series of bold and often painful reforms. We can understand these reforms best by looking at the key artifacts from that era. The first artifact is voucher. This small piece of paper is a powerful symbol of mass privatization. The government transferred ownership of thousands of state-owned factories and farms to private hands. The goal was ambitious: to quickly create a new class of property owners and entrepreneurs. However, this process was often unequal, leading to the rise of a small, powerful elite. The second artifact is the images of empty store shelves from 1991 to 92. These images represent the necessity of price liberalization. In 1992, the government removed state controls on most prices. Overnight, prices skyrocketed, causing severe hardships. But this difficult step was crucial. It allowed the laws of supply and demand to work, and slowly goods started to reappear in the markets. And finally, the most important artifact is the first tenge banknotes of 1993. The introduction of our national currency was the ultimate act of economic sovereignty. It wasn't just new money, it was a powerful tool. It allowed Kazakhstan to break free from the unstable ruble zone and conduct its own independent monetary policy, which was the first step toward controlling inflation and building a stable financial system. Together, these three artifacts, the voucher, the empty shelves, and the tenge map, the difficult but essential first steps Kazakhstan took to build a market economy from the ground up.
Now about key challenges. Kazakhstan faced a number of serious challenges during its transition from a centrally planned economy to a market-based system. These problems were difficult to overcome and created instability, but they were necessary to build a functioning market economy. Hyperinflation. After Kazakhstan became independent in 1991, the country experienced extremely high inflation. In 1992, inflation reached over 3,000%, meaning the prices of everyday goods like bread and milk were growing much faster than people's incomes. Many people lost their savings as their money lost value quickly. For example, in the early 1990s, you could buy a loaf of bread of just a few tenge, but by 1994, the same loaf might cost 10 times more. This caused widespread poverty for many families. Unemployment and job losses. During the transition, many state-owned factories and businesses were privatized or shut down. Because of this, millions of people lost their jobs. In the early 1990s, nearly 1,600,000 million jobs were lost, which was about 10% of total workforce. These jobs cuts affected workers in industries like mining, manufacturing and agriculture. Without the government providing jobs, many people struggled to find new work and unemployment reached very high levels. Declining living standards. Due to the inflation and high unemployment, many people's living standards decreased sharply. Families that used to have stable jobs now found themselves struggling to make ends meet. The government tried to introduce reforms quickly, but the effects were felt more strongly by lower income groups. Many families had to cut back on basic needs like food, healthcare, and education. Social inequality. The rapid change also created greater inequality between different groups in society. While some people took advantage of new market opportunities and became wealthy, many others found it much harder to adapt. The poorest segments of society, particularly those in rural areas or without education, found it hardest to adjust to the new economic realities. This caused significant social tension. Weak institutional frameworks. At the start of the transition, Kazakhstan lacked the institution needed to support a market economy. There were no clear walls to protect businesses, no strong financial institution, and no reliable system to manage the economy. The country struggled to create new institutions quickly, and many business people faced challenges due to weak regulations, corruption, and a lack of experience in managing private enterprises.
By the 20s, Kazakhstan's economy had recovered from the deep crisis of the 1990s. Oil and gas export became the main growth engine. By 2050, they made up about 60% of exports and 30% of GDP. From 20s to 27s, GDP grew by nearly 9% per year, while inflation, which had reached over 1 in 1991, fell to the single digit by the 20s. Foreign investments also surged. By 2010s, Kazakhstan had attracted over 120 billion in FDI, strengthening energy and finance. The Astana International Financial Center, AIFC, launched in 2018, helped turn the country into a regional financial hub. Living standards improved too. Poverty fell from over 40% in 1998 to below 3% by 2013. Overall, Kazakhstan stabilized its economy, encouraged private enterprise, and successfully integrated into the global market.
In summary, Kazakhstan's transition was not easy. The country faced extreme inflation, high unemployment, increasing poverty, and institutional weakness. But overcoming these problems was necessary for the country to begin building a market economy.
Жер сұлу, ақ қаз-қаздары тойлаған, айдың шалқар көз сұлу. Өзгеден де ең сұлу, өмірлік достың сұлу. Өзіміз сүйіп ұнатқан, бәрінен де сен сұлу, сен сұлу. Төккен қырмызы аспандағы күн сұлу, жымың